Okay, we are good to go. Hello, everybody. So that was an episode. Um, as you can tell, I wasn't like entirely too enthralled with like a couple of points. I did actually just kind of, all right, I'm gonna play Candy Crush a little bit while I'm listening to the exposition happening. But there were some good things that happened and some very interesting things. And a legitimate moment where I was actually paying attention, and as soon as it happened, I like my mouth dropped open. I was like, I don't know. It was whole that yeah for like a good 5 minutes. I was just like, how no? Why did you do that? So that was interesting. And let's see. So what do we got here? Let's head into my notes. Hello, hello, hello. As I see people are starting to pop into the chat. So we're back to we go back to the beginning. We are back to however many years ago, but we have Merlin who like okay, he can stay around because hot damn. And the dark one is in this really creepy mask, and I was trying to figure out what the mask reminded me of, but the only thing I was getting was those weird clockwork monsters from that one episode of Doctor Who, with the you always bring a banana, with Rose and was Jack there? I think Jack might have been there. I don't remember. But the marionette, the really sad episode with the French girl and the and yeah. I keep saying the really sad episode of Doctor Who. Which sad episode am I talking about? The one with the French girl and the marionette puppets and the everything. Yeah, that was the only thing that I could really think of with the mask. But I feel like we have seen this mask in once before, and maybe that masquerade that Cora went to a very long time ago because they had some really freaky masks at that masquerade ball. So yeah, I'm not really sure about this dark one and a creepy and there wasn't a name on the dagger, if you noticed, when Merlin was trying to stab the dark one and failed to because he did the whole thing that Anna did last season where he was like, I'm really angry, but I guess I can't do it. So he turned away from evil or whatever. And then the tear and yeah, and then he turned into a tree for some reason. I didn't really figure that one out. A lot of my issue with this episode, I think, stemmed from the fact that there was a lot of information that we were given, and we kind of jumped around a little bit. Like, we just kind of abruptly moved from thing to thing, and I would like to have gotten a little bit more of a breather. So if this could have been the 2-hour-long episode, or at least like an hour and a half, an hour and a half, just a little more. Give us a little, give me the deleted scenes. So yeah, I don't think that was Zoso in the flashback because it's just Zoso was so long ago, and I think Merlin was trapped before that, but there wasn't a name on the dagger, so I don't really know. Yeah. Oh, that's it. The mask reminded me of Game of Thrones. Kate Martin said, yeah, that might be it because I did binge watch on season 5 a couple of weeks ago, and the mask of the people in Marine that were murdering everybody because they didn't like what Daenerys is doing. That I think that might be what that was making me think of. So, but I did not see any name on the dagger because I like looked because they made sure to like I saw there were a couple of sides and I didn't see any names on it. It was just the pattern, so I don't know what was going on with that. So, yeah. Oh, there was a lot of angst this episode, but it was good angst. It was real. It was just yeah. It was good angst. it was good feels. So yeah, so we have the dark one and a really creepy Game of Thrones / Doctor Who mask for reasons, I guess. I don't know. And I like that the dream catchers are like memory portals that Emma can use for lots of different things. I think that's an interesting use of them. I don't really like this whole thing that Regina was saying that the way it was phrased, I think, is what I dislike about it the most, because she said it's very dark magic, kind of implying that the Dreamcatcher itself is dark magic. And I don't like the implications of that, considering that they're already taking something that is a native tradition and applying it elsewhere. That's not really good connotation. So I think the phrasing of it was bad. It could have been better. What Emma was doing with it is definitely very dark magic, to be able to absorb memories from other people. It's not that great. It's troll magic, as we saw last season, or it's just dark magic in general. So that's not that great, but I am getting ahead of myself. So I was looking over at the comments. Yeah, so, and I'm glad that, like, so Regina and the Charmings are on a little field trip in the forest, and Regina's about to get the dagger out, and Emma freezes her parents, which I think is good that she knows what's going on, and somebody knows that the Charmings are being possessed, or were brainwashed, or however you want to call it. So great, good things. Also, there were some really great bonding moments between Regina and Emma, which really it made it more painful when we got to the like between the Storybrooke and the Camelot parallels. I think that was really good to show that despite, or even though, I should say, even though Emma is becoming or succumbing more and more to the darkness, like, she still has this friendship with Regina, and it was a really good way of kind of counterpoint. Like, they made a point of showing that, like, you know, Regina's like, I've been there, girl, I know what's going on, you need to stop this. And Emma's just like, I got it, it's cool. And she really doesn't got it, because Regina knows all these signs and she understands what she's going through. I think it's a really good way of reinforcing their relationship. This was a really good episode to be centered around them. They didn't spend the whole time bickering. I really like it when we actually have, you know, positive female interactions, not just constant nitpicking at each other. And there was a lot of really great Mama Emma and Mama Regina, like, tag team momming over Henry. There was some good stuff there. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I'm just saying things as it's coming to my head. So yeah, so Emma knows what's up. And then she and Regina have this little bit of a confrontation about, like, you know, are you sure about this? Like, you're using this magic that's, you know, you're going to succumb a little bit faster the more you use it. And Emma I just laughed when Emma was like, yeah, but you're forgetting one thing. I'm not you. And I'm just like, I laughed, but I also kind of face-palmed a little bit, because, like, you're foils for a reason, Emma and Regina. Like, you've been painted as foils from the start. You're very similar. You even have, like, Emma is very fair. She's got the blonde hair and she's got light eyes. And then you have Regina, who has dark hair and dark eyes. Like, you're literally night and day from each other, but, like, you're also the same. So, like, it's hilarious to me every time Emma's like, well, I'm not you. Well, you're kind of very similar. So, yeah, so the match of what I just skipped way ahead. So they do, my notes are kind of disorganized, because again, I wasn't wholly enthralled with this episode. So I'm like, my notes are very staggered. We're back in the sheriff's station, and they noticed that, I want to call him Pod, but I know that's the squire that Brienne has in Game of Thrones, and now I'm on Game of Thrones. Whoever Arthur's guy was, his squire, he's dead, and so everybody's in the sheriff's station going, gosh, where did he go? He's just not here anymore. And then they're trying, I don't know how we got from point A to point B. I'm not sure how. I forget. Somebody please, I'm gonna get like 7 comments. Please clue me in on how we got from, hey, your squire's gone, to we should have a ball, because I think I missed a couple of steps there. I know Henry was texting Violet, and then everybody was kind of like, David was teasing Henry about his girlfriend. Regina got all mom on him, and Killian came in and was like, well, I know my way around women. And Regina, there was so much great Hook and Regina interactions. I love they're so siblings. They're such 5-year-old brother and sister, and I love it so much. There were some really great things with that. But I don't know how we got from Squire's dead to we should have a ball. So I think it was to get everybody's mind off of things, Or I'm not like, yeah, I'm not really, I don't know. I honestly, I cannot remember how we got there. I just was like, okay, so that's how that happened. Um, kind of scrolling through comments, see if there's anything pressing. Um, uh, how did Regina get the special Dreamcatcher's dark magic to work when she couldn't in Camelot? She did get it to, I don't really know. I think that well, actually, no, I do have a theory about the dark catcher, the dream catcher. Good God. I do have a theory about the dream catcher with the dream catcher in Storybrooke. I'm going to save that till the end because it's kind of long-winded, but I do have a thought about the whole scene with getting the dream catcher and the end and like making it work and all. I have a theory on that. I'm gonna think it through a little bit, but remind me when we get to it that I have this theory. I'm gonna write myself a note, but I'm gonna Dreamcatcher theory in Storybrooke. Okay, so I have that note for myself on my computer. Yeah, so I do have a theory about how, excuse me, Regina could get the Dreamcatcher to work. The thing. So, yeah, Merida was good. We'll talk about Merida a little bit. Okay, yeah, I do think that they meant it as you're using these dream catchers in a dark way, but it came across as dream catchers are inherently evil. So that was my problem, is that it did not come across as it came across in a bad way. It could have been worded better. So, yeah, so I do have a theory about the dream catcher. We'll see about this whole Henry thing too. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Squire's name is Griff. That's it. It's like I don't know. I'm stuck on Game of Thrones now. I'm gonna keep like picking up different little things. So, okay, Squire's gone. Everybody's bummed out. Cheer everybody up at the party, and let's just go drink. Okay, so that's how we got to that. People were losing hope, blah blah blah. Okay, I feel the opposite. I feel like these episodes are moving so slow. I think revealing like like the thing with storytelling is you don't want to give everything up at the beginning because then people are going to lose interest for the rest. So if you like explain everything like in the first 3 chapters of a book, why do you want to read the other 15? It's not gonna like it's like, okay, I know everything what happened. There's a slow reveal. It's a whole like that's what good storytelling is. You know, you reveal it slowly, and it's an issue when people are so used to like binge watching things that you like get all the information at once. It feels like so it's a slow reveal. It's to keep people watching. We don't want to everything out immediately because that's bad storytelling. So it feels like it's moving slowly, but this is about sorry, I just like moved everything. It's a storytelling technique, and it's a good one because you don't want to give away, you don't want to show your hand too quickly, or else you're gonna lose other poker metaphors that I can't play poker, so I don't know why I'm trying to use a metaphor. Okay, so Killing, give me your dating advice. Then Snow, like she just like loops her arm through Regina, was like, let's go plan a party because that's what she does. So what I really like about now that Emma has Rumple or Gold or however you want to mention him, I guess Gold since he's in our world now. What I really like about having Emma with Gold, but also like she has the Rumple in her head as the evil Jiminy Cricket. I really like that we have Rumple as the Dark One in her head telling her to do all these things like, this is what you need to do. This is how being the Dark One works. This is what, like, this is just what it's done. Like, it's just how it works. You got to do it like this. Then you have the real Mr. Gold who's just like, dude, if you do all of this, I am living proof to tell you that it's not going to work out very well for you. Like, it's not like I can tell you from firsthand experience that this is going to fail. And I really like they have this ability to do this dichotomy of these two halves of this character. Because I do like Rumpelstiltskin as he like as this complex character. He does have, you know, his good self, his cowardly self, and then he has his dark one self. So I like that now they get to kind of play with it in complete sincerity. They get to have this guy who has been there and done that and now has returned to his roots, because he doesn't he has his injury is back. He can't heal that with magic. He has no self-confidence anymore because he's lost kind of his only bargaining chip, and that is the fact that he can use magic and get whatever he wants because he has magic and can do whatever he wants. And he's completely stripped of all of this, and I like that now we can have this guy who's just like, I can tell you this isn't gonna work for you, and then you have the complete evil Git version of him, and it's really great. So I'm really enjoying this mix of being able to play with both halves of this guy. And I really hope that we get to see it more. And I know it would be a pain in the ass to, like, for filming reasons, to be able to have him as Gold say, like, talking to her, and then like him as Rumple saying the opposite, and like having, like, it's kind of like the whole like angel and devil on your shoulder in cartoons. How you have one side like egging you to do one thing and the other side egging you to do the other thing. And it would be so much work for them to be able to have them both in one scene, and they've very rarely done it so far, because it is a lot of work. Because I think Bobby said it's like 4 hours of makeup or something just to get like his hands and his face and everything done. So yeah, I really hope that they play a little bit more with that, because I really just like the visual of it. I think it's really good. So it's makes me happy. So Merida comes and is like doing her best to just get the upper hand in some way, shape, or form. And I admire her gumption that she's like, you know what, you have my heart, but I'm still gonna try to do what I can anyway. So she's doing really good at just living up to her character. And then Emma's just like, no, sorry, you're still gonna do what I say because I have your heart. And she poofs them away to the forest, and then she goes out to her magic shed that's just filled with dream catchers, and I think there are enough in there for her to have like taken everybody's memories and stored them within the dream catchers. So we'll see where that one goes. And I did not catch, I forgot to go rewind and watch to see, because I want to say that the dream catcher that she had on her table at the end that Regina took back to her house, I want to say that was the one that she took down, because there's a reason for that, and we'll get to that later. So if that's it, then good. If it's not, then my whole theory is blown out the window. But I don't remember if that's what it is, but we'll get to that later. Or maybe she just grabbed that one off screen, because a lot of things are happening off screen apparently. Okay, and so then we have the Tear of Lost Love, and again with the whole Dreamcatcher being used for dark magic, with the very misworded line, or easily misconstrued. So we have Emma and Regina doing this magic chemistry set thing, which I like the idea of Regina being this huge nerd. Like she's the science nerd, because she's always has like the chemistry sets and everything, and like that's how you distill magic. I get that with potions. But she's always kind of like really into it. So I like that she's kind of just like, all right, we're gonna play science fair now, and like dragging Emma into this. I thought that was fun. So then we have I was trying to remember my order of scenes, but I think I actually wrote something down later with that. So we go to the stables where Henry and Violet are, and they're bonding over their dead parents, as you do, I guess. Again, this show focuses very heavily on parent-child relationships, specifically the difficulties that can exist with same-sex parents' relationships. I have said this before, how we have the strain with Emma and Mary Margaret and Lily and Maleficent, and like we're gonna come up with more on, like we had Hook and Balefire in the past, and we have Balefire and Rumpelstiltskin and Peter Pan, and blah blah. So the importance of that conversation comes again with there continuing to be more difficulties in the fact that now Violet's mother is dead and Neil is dead. So they don't have this relationship, and that is what is difficult about it, because they feel like they need their parents and they don't have them for good reasons because they're dead. And the significance, I saw a lot of people complaining, and I am not like the biggest fan of Neil, but I don't hate him, is the thing. I think he's an interesting character who just happened to be a douchebag to my favorite character. So that's where my side lands. But I don't hate Neil. I don't particularly like him with Emma or near Emma or having anything to do with Emma. So everybody's like complaining about there's so much talk about Neil in the episode. Well, first off, the episode is titled Dreamcatcher, which is a very significant thing that was brought up 3 seasons ago in Tallahassee, because that was something that was a thing with Emma and Neil. And now we have, of course, we're going to have Henry being like, we haven't even we had a big scene at the end of last season with Henry like wanting to bring his dad back. And we had a big scene explaining why that's not going to happen. And so, of course, he's going to be upset about it. And we don't give the characters time to mourn about this. We don't give, like, he was an important person to Rumpelstiltskin, to Emma, to Killian, to Henry, to a lot of people. And we don't get a chance to mourn that. And just like how, we don't really get a chance for, like, we brought up Daniel. We haven't talked about Daniel in forever, probably since season 2, I want to say. And like, we need to have these moments where we bring up these past characters who affected their lives, and they had a significant impact on them. Like Daniel was Emma. No, Daniel was not Emma's. Daniel was Regina's first love, just as Neil was Emma's first love. Like this is a thing. It's canon. It needs to be acknowledged. Just because it wasn't a good thing or it wasn't a forever thing doesn't mean that it didn't have significant impact on them. And so there's a lot of people complaining about that, and I'm like, no, this needs to happen, because it doesn't happen very often, and we need to. It's a necessary thing, because it's really only been a couple of months since Neil died. So more grief is a process, and they're still within it. Anyway, so then Violet goes to put away her horse's stuff, to get back to the actual episode recap and not me just saying why people are dumb. And then Henry decides to be Henry, and he picks up this sword, which is apparently really too heavy for him, and he's just like trying to swing it around. It's not really going very well for him, and he knocks himself off kilter and breaks half the barn, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, sweetheart, please stop. Stop being a 13-year-old boy. BT dubs, we finally have an age. We know how old Henry is. He's 13 now, so with 3 years have passed almost. I think it's between Henry's birthday and Emma's birthday. So like, he's 13, she's still 29. I think that's how this is working. She's about to be 30. We know ages now. Huzzah. Timelines. So then he's having a really awkward conversation with Sir Morgan, Violet's dad. So, that's every teenage boy's dream, to have a conversation with the girl you have a crush on's father. And he does the typical dad thing, the TV dad who goes too far, and my daughter is not good, you're not good enough for my daughter, she's too good for you because blah 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 blah. I'm just like, can we not with this? Because your daughter, I know it's Camelot, but your daughter is not your property and she's her own person. Okay. So that's great. No, we can not do that. And I've gone a long time without talking about comments. And we're about to jump back to present day. So this is a good time to go to comments. So, oh my gosh, so many comments. Okay. So I know that the stream kind of froze a couple of times because I saw it, and I tried not to say things when I saw it freezing, but yeah. So the bean thing, I don't think the bean actually ever existed. So that was what they're distracting themselves from. Oh gosh. It just jumped up again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Merida, if she's going to be staying on after this arc. So we'll find out about that. I think next episode I'm actually interested in, because it looks like it's actually going to be a proper, a proper Rumbell episode, which I haven't one of those in so freaking long. So I think it's going to be Rumbell and Merida. So hopefully we'll find out a bit more about what's going on with her. I don't know if there's a ship name for Henry and Violet yet. I have not seen anything about it. I think people are still a little bit wary about shipping 13-year-olds, but that's my opinion. I don't have any kind of, I don't know what we're calling anything with that. So purple believer, I don't know. We don't know anything about Violet really, like, to do much except that she likes horses. Episodes are moving really fast in some ways and then really slow. Like, they need to, it's, again, pacing has just been the whole thing. So, having a lot of, pacing has just been the issue since the start. We go really slow in some places and then really fast in others. And it's like, we need to find a good balance, but yeah. So I think next week is going to be, like I said, Merida-centric episode. I think that's going to be next week, because it's called The Bear and the Bow, and that was the original that was the original title for Brave. So I think that's going to be about her, and then also about Rumple and Belle, which, again, good, because we haven't had an episode about them for a while, and it would be nice if that happened. Cobra names for that. Purple Believer. I'm glad somebody else thought Purple Believer, because that's the only thing that I could think of. So ship names. Oh my gosh, stop jumping around, comment section. Same dream. Okay, so good that it's the same dream catcher that they found in her living room, because theory, I'll get to it. I know I keep saying this, but I just thought of this, before I logged in, or I started to do this. So yeah. Okay, so good. I have a theory about the dream catcher. I will get to it. I promise. I keep reminding myself that we'll get to it. Constant Neil mentions, was Emma using his memory to spark something in Henry? I don't really know entirely about that. I think that was mostly just, again, I think it's just a mourning process. I think it's just like it's his dad, and he didn't really know him the second time around. He didn't really, dog, can we not with the barking? I think it's like, he didn't really know his dad the first time around, and then when the second time around, like, he died before he even met Neil. So, or like, kind of ish. Yeah, I haven't seen season 3 in so long, so I can't really remember, but I don't think he really had any proper interaction with Neil before he died. So, like, it's just something with his, just trying to be like, yeah, your dad was this and that and the other. So I don't really know about that. So yeah, so, like, we know, like, again, so many things have happened off screen, like Killian and Emma talking about her relationship with Neil, like, and she knows about the thing with Mila. There's been a lot of discussions off screen, and I would like to see that happening on screen and developing, becoming closer. There's been some good meta about how, like, they're showing us that they've become closer, and, like, they're kind of showing us in physical intimacy that they've become closer, but, like, they're more telling us that they've become closer by sharing these stories. Like, this episode, he was, Killian was saying, Balefire gave her this, it was significant. And last episode, or 2 episodes ago rather, like, she was, remember that I told you about what happened with Gold and with Mila, like, how she got to be on the ship. Like, there's a whole lot of off-screen discussion happening, and I guess that's what FIC is for, is so we've, but and it's nice to know that these conversations are happening, and it's not just assuming that people are talking about things off screen. But it's the same thing last season. when before Emma and Regina went on that road trip to go find Lily, how Regina said that Emma told her about the girl and about the girl, her friend when she was younger, and I was just like, okay, but when did that happen? Like, again, I would just like to see these things happening, but it's 42-minute show. You can't put everything. I understand that. However, I would like to see it anyway. So yeah, it is just nice that like the event occasionally we do have a conversation about people who are dead, but they were significant. So like, yeah. No, it's still 13 because not that much time has passed. It's just the fact that Jared is growing up and the show is not growing up as fast. So the fact that he's 13, honestly, I thought they were going to say he's 12. So the fact that he's 13 is good enough for me. So yeah, it's just that Jared's growing up faster than the show is passing through time. But we're supposed to, I know they want to do Zelina's entire pregnancy this season. How that's going to happen, I'm not really sure because, again, timing. So we're going to be jumping a whole lot here pretty soon. I don't really know how. So, like, we'll get there, I guess. Emma will be 30 soon. And then, like, yeah, timeline and pacing on this show. So, yeah. Yeah, the whole thing, like Neil is Henry's dad, and like they didn't get time. Like they had a little bit of time together in New York, and then when Neil was in Storybrooke, but like they didn't get that much time together before he died / was sent back to the Enchanted Forest, and then he was there on the boat when they got back from Neverland. Like there wasn't much time for that to happen, and it was sad they didn't get that relationship. But it's nice that they're acknowledging like that Henry is upset that he didn't really get to know his dad. Like I just like characters and writers acknowledging that, you know, sometimes life sucks. So yeah, there's no definitive age on Killian. They always change, like every episode. I'm pretty sure they change how old Killian is just to keep us guessing. I think it's between 200 and 300 years. I don't know though. So, yeah. Jared's 15, so it's just a matter of the fact that the show is aging much slower than Jared is. So he's the oldest 13-year-old you're ever going to meet. I have a couple of 13-year-old cousins. They do not look like Jared Gilmore. Their voices are also not as deep as Jared Gilmore's is. So, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we're going to get a Rumbell episode because holy crap, it has been a very long time since we had one. Yeah. I do have a theory about the Dreamcatcher. I will get to it. Okay, back to my notes. And I need to get my water. Excuse me, I'm gonna get really close to your faces now. Okay. So then Merida's just kind of wailing, to go back to the episode now. Yeah, Merida's just kind of wailing on Rumple. I mean, he needs it, and she has really good reasons to be just going hard at him, but it's still just, it's sad, but it's necessary. Like, I get both sides of it, where he's just like, this isn't who I am, I can't do this, and she's just like, bull crap, you can do this, and you have to, or we're all screwed. It's very true to both of their characters, and I really like that they're playing with like Merida, who's very stubborn and very like headstrong, which are synonyms, and I don't know why I said them both. But she's very like focused on stuff, and like Rumple's just like, I'm not the person that you need me to be. I can't become that person. So I really like that they're playing off each other's. They're playing off each other with both of their strengths to hilariously disastrous results. So yeah, Merida is definitely not the person that, or she doesn't have the patience to work with them, but also Rumple doesn't need patience, he needs action. So she just knocks him out cold, which is good. And then we have Henry at Emma's house, and Henry wants to get Violet's horseback because he's gone. So Nicodemus is missing. Gasp. And I like that the pumpkin themed episode was the week before the weekend preceding Halloween. So good job on that, guys. um, and I had a very random thought while watching this scene. It's when they're going down to the bug, and they're talking, and we see they're on either side of the back of Emma's, or we're looking at the back of the bug, and obviously Emma's the driver's side and Henry's on the passenger side. And I could only really focus on the back window of the bug, thinking, what is that sticker? So there's a window cling on the back of the bug, and I want to know what it is. So if anybody knows what the window cling is on the back of Emma's bug, please tell me, because the obsessive nerd in me desires to have answers. So yeah, that's I would like to know what the sticker is. So please, somebody tell me what her window cling is. And then we have, again, with the bringing up Neil, Henry's talking about how he played her the song that is apparently just becoming the overarching theme of this half of the season. I hope it's not the whole season, because I'm not really a fan of the song. It's okay, but it's not my cup of tea. He says that Neil taught Henry about the song. And again, with the whole Henry did not have a lot of time to get to know his dad. When did Neil teach Henry about the song? That's questions, and there's no answers. I guess off screen, in all of the time that they had off screen together, Neil just pulled up his iTunes and was like, hey son, I'm going to teach you about some music. Like, I don't know when this happened. And it's that line kind of bugged me a little bit, but just cause, yeah. So then we flash back again to Camelot, and Henry is being Henry and practicing sword fighting in the woods, and along come Emma and Regina, and it just, I liked his, hey, moms. Like, not, very relatively few kids in comparison to others get to say, hi moms, how are you doing today? Catching up in me in the woods as I'm practicing sword fighting. And then they get the really cute, they're both giving Henry advice about, like, this is how, if you like a girl, this is how it works, So there's some very cute moms giving their son advice. Again, I like these kinds of interactions. So that was cute. And then the pain came in. I'm pretty sure other things happened, but I did not write them down and I don't remember. But sad things happened. I have a lot of emotions. I don't have nearly as much as my friend Tina, who is a diehard Evil Regal. But I have a lot of emotions about the stable boy. And having to relive that scene of Cora ripping out Daniel's heart. Oh boy, that sucked. And the fact that, like, Emma had to witness it, and what Emma's conclusions were drawn out of that for later in the episode, that also really sucked. So that was bad. And it's just really painful to, like, that Regina, despite the fact that she is, like, she's happy and in love with Robin, like, she's still so affected by what happened to Daniel, which, she was like 17, 18 years old when this happened. And when stuff happens to you when you're 17 and 18, like, it's a big deal regardless of what it is. But having your boyfriend be killed in front of you by your own mom, that's pretty traumatic. So they got to have this conversation about it, which I think, again, was good. And it was a nice, slow bonding moment for them. It was good, even though Emma didn't get the best messages out of it for later. But we'll get to that. I just have no effing shit. Emma locks her house with magic. So I like that it's specifically charmed so only Henry can enter. and they get into the house, and other things happen. Oh, this is when the little teeny tiny children date happens. It was really cute, and Henry brings out his phone to watch a movie on, and I'm just like, how big is your phone that you have two? I know you only have 2 movies on your phone, but like, I only have this is what is it, a 32? Yeah, I think I only have a 32 gig phone. So I have a lot of music on here, but like how many gigs of memory does Henry have? Because you can't stream in Camelot. So he has well, I know he has his iPod, so maybe he has his iPod for his music, and then he has his phone for watching videos. So like, I don't know, but I'm just like, Henry, that's a lot. Like, that's at least 6 gigs of memory being taken up if you're not going HD. So like, what are you doing here? That's a really great place for my stream to freeze up on. That was a great face. I just caught that. So yeah. Oh, and then Henry got his heart broken because we'll get to that. So Violet breaks Henry's heart, and it's sad. But they were having a really cute date otherwise before then. He like lit candles all over Granny's restaurant, and I love Henry so much, you guys. I want to adopt him for myself. I love him. So I thought originally when Merida was, she broke into somewhere and was flipping through the book and trying to get information, which, good Merida, doing your research before you psychologically torture people. That's how things go. So I thought she was going to find a way to capture Belle, and instead she took the teacup. So, and Henry, they go up to Peter Pumpkin Eater's farm, I guess, where all the pumpkins are. Again, appropriately themed for the week of leading up to Halloween. Good job, guys. So we have Nicodemus, and we allude back to how Emma and horses are not very good friends when she's the dark one. So Henry takes care of it, and I don't know. I want to know how they got the horse back to town, because the bug is not hitched up to any kind of trailer to take Nicodemus back in. So did Emma drive really slow while Henry followed on foot with the horse, or did he ride bareback to the stable so he could then tack the horse up, or did Emma magic up a saddle and tack for him to ride back in gallantly? I have questions about this horse. I always have questions about horses, so I have questions about this horse. So that's happening while the break-in is happening at Emma's house. And we know that Killian is in pirate mode because his collar is popped. You always know when his leather collar is popped that he's in pirate, stealthy, sneaky mode. I don't know. That's just what things that I'm noticing. It's kind of a security blanket, I've noticed. Like when in scenes when he's feeling particularly anxious or unsure about things, he pops his collar on his leather coat, the new leather coat rather, and because the old coat was obviously constantly popped. So that's his anxiety thing. Like, he pops the collar, and that's his, like, I'm a pirate and I'm mean and scary. Don't notice my anxiety attack. So they're in the basement, and they find Excalibur, and they put together that the Excalibur and the dagger are in fact 2 halves of the same whole. And then Regina gets the call that Emma's on her way back, so they leave after Belle's like, hey, the Rumple was definitely here, we just don't know where he went. So they go back upstairs. They're trying to leave before Emma gets home, and then pirate senses are tingling, and Killian notices a box on the table. And why he noticed the box on the table is because the box is very different from all of the other decor in Emma's house. And inside of the box is a smaller box, and inside that smaller box is a flea, a tiny little flea. I'm going to stop now because I will quote that entire thing. So there's this box that looks completely different than everything else, and they open it, and inside is a dream catcher. And I will get to the theory after we get to the end of this. I'm going to try to rush through. So they take that and they leave, flashback to the past, and Emma and Regina are having the science fair. And Henry's heart's broken, and his tear is the one that actually works, not Regina. And then we have Emma with a really cool effect. So the effect of both light magic and dark magic, and she's able to wield both because she is born of ultimate light and carries the ultimate dark. It was really cool that like there's these both halves of this, and she's able to free Merlin from the tree. So that was really cool. It was like just the entire effect was just the way they had her all glowing and like wielding the magic and everything. It was really, really cool. Arthur tried to screw things up, but he couldn't because he is a bad villain and can't stop things or can't make things not happen. So one thing I'm noticing is that the removal of the memories is not entirely a bad thing, because now we get a redo, a second chance, if you will, for Henry and Violet. A couple of other characters kind of get a reset on meeting for the first time, I guess, interacting with one another. And it's coming out a little bit differently than it did in Camelot. So the memory removal is not entirely a bad thing. Just, stealing people's memories is bad. So they have a conversation. The Scooby Gang that's left has a conversation with the Camelot crew and about the dagger and the sword, and nobody's really trusting anybody as is proper because bad things. I know I'm not looking at any comments right now. I'm just trying to get through the rest of this because I'm going to spend a lot of time on comments here. They always seem to focus on, I'm thinking, whenever somebody asks like what the heck happened to Camelot, they always kind of focus in on Snow. And I noticed it specifically in this episode because like we had I think it was David asking what happened in Camelot, and then like the camera lens filtered. We kind of zoomed out a little bit to include Snow in the shot, and then the focus went to her, and kind of everybody else in the background dimmed out, or like not dimmed out, but kind of blurred out a little bit. So the focus changed to be just on her. So I wonder what something happened with Snow, and I don't know. We'll find out about that. So I haven't given a lot of thought to it, so I don't know. So that's one question to think of. We have Merida. We go back to Merida, and she has the cup, and she's taunting Rumple, and like he's doing the good thing, which is fighting for his relationship. Because it's something, the chipped cup is obviously a very important symbol for them. And she's just got like, I think if you just left Merida alone with somebody for too long, she's gonna just rip him a new one. And it delights me at the same time. I just feel like so bad because I've been seeing a lot of comparisons of like Rumple now to how he was like when we see him in all the flashbacks, like in seasons 1 and seasons 2, before he was the Dark One. And you just pity the guy. Like you just feel so bad, and you know why he did it. It doesn't excuse his actions, but you just feel bad for the poor bastard. I just sit there and go like, oh, I just want you to figure out something that's not this. Okay. So this is the part where we get back to Regina's house, and she and Robin they have the dream catcher, and Regina is just like, okay, so we're gonna get this, and we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna see whose memories these are, and it turns out that they are Violet's memories, or it looks like Violet's memories, and this is the part where I legitimately was like, and my mouth dropped open, and I was like, I covered my face, and I stayed that way almost through the entire commercial break because bad things. Like Emma rips Violet's heart out, and makes her break Henry's heart because the tear, she already knows that the tear that Regina has produced is not going to be potent enough. It's not going to be potent enough to be used in the spell, so she needs a fresh tear. So she manipulates Violet to break Henry's heart, and of course Henry finds out, and it's like bad. It's so bad. I like it. I can't even like comprehend. Like I can comprehend how bad it is, but I can't put into words just how really not. I don't know. I can't like put into words like how damaging this is to Emma, like Emma's relationship with Henry. How it's going to change things, what, like, especially if we're still banking on my theory of like, you know, Emma she has two options for true love's kiss, and she's kind of screwed both of them up now. Like, okay, this is not good. Okay, yeah, so that was my that was like a legitimately shocking moment for me that I did not see coming in the least. And I like it when that happens. I like it when they can just take me completely by surprise like that. It's very nice to have these shocking things happen. It's not a good because it's angsty, but it's good because I like being surprised like that. So Merlin brings the Charmings back to normal, and he takes off the magic stand. And I just have I have a little thing that I just really like, and I want to mention. I really, really like that every single person who uses magic has a different way of handing for it, I guess. So like I noticed it, like Merlin's was very like close to his face and like just very tight and go. Emma's is like Elsa's because Elsa's the one who really taught her, and she's very like emotionally going, like this is a big like flow pushing the energy of the universe and Tai Chi, I don't know. And like, you know, Regina's is very like, it's subtle, but it's not as subtle as Rumple's is, because Regina learned from Rumple, and Rumple is extraordinarily subtle, but Regina has a little more flair to it. You can see a couple of things where Emma picked up that movement from Regina, like when she made the page in last season, she just kind of like papa. Very Regina move to do, but mostly like Rumple's is very like, you know, twiddle fingers and done. Regina is a little more flashy than that, but not too much. Emma's very much of full body movements, and Merlin is very like tight control. And I think that that's a good way of just showcasing how differently everybody uses their magic. And I know it's on purpose that they do it, but I just really like that little detail. So yeah, also again, Merlin's hot. I just want to continue to mention that because he is very attractive. So we have a really great confrontation scene between Regina and Emma, and I think it really needed to happen. I thought it was a great showcase of like how far Emma has fallen. Like Regina even said, if I'm on the moral high ground, you have problems. And it was such a sick burn, for a lack of a better way to say it, that Regina was like, you're just like my mom, and that's not cool. So like to have Regina say that Emma is the person that Regina, like she's just like the person Regina kind of hates the most in the world, like that's not cool. Because Emma did the same thing. She did the same thing that Cora did with Daniel, and that's not like, she didn't kill Violet, but she still manipulated her son by using the person that he's in love with, and not cool. So yeah, so then we asked the question of, so you freed Merlin, what happened to him? And Emma doesn't say anything, and episode ends. Okay, I went a long time without doing comments, so we're gonna scroll way down through here and talk through comments. Okay. So and we will get to my theory after I do comments. I keep saying that, but like I swear I'm not like clickbaiting you or anything. This is just me. Like I have other things that I'm trying to do. Yeah, Merida's session really was very, you know, anger, aggression, but like sword fighting has to kind of be that way. You know, the same thing with tennis. Like there is scientific proof that when you're playing tennis and like ha! Like yell as you're doing it or you grunt as you're doing it, like you do hit the ball harder. So like letting controlled anger feed through your sword motions, like it's kind of the same thing. Like you are going to hit your target better and harder and everything. So it is very much a tactic of it. It's just that Merida's also kind of pissed off right now for good reasons. um, so I don't know about 13-year-old boys. When I was 12, I was often thought to be between 15 and 18, even without makeup. That is because boys age or mature differently than girls, which is why you have such things as older men hitting on teenage girls, even though they shouldn't just do that anyway because it's gross. But yeah, girls do develop much quicker than men do, or than boys do rather. So like Jared looks a little bit older, but he's not gonna look as old as he does, or he's not gonna change too much more between like now and when he's like 23. So um Peter Pumpkin Eaters, Pumpkin Store. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm kind of chuckling at the timing of it. I'm sure they did that on purpose. Honestly, they looked at the schedule and they're like, yeah, this will be around Halloween. So that's what they did with that. Um, so yeah, I think we need to do more like like I think they keep hinting at David and Henry when the like Henry talking about the hero thing, because it is like it's kind of almost becoming a complex for him at this point, even though he is the author now and he has like a whole thing. He has a title. Like him learning how to be a knight, I think, is something that's still going to happen. It's just not the focus right now. But I think like as Henry gets older, like he is going to get more into the sword play, excuse me, thing. I keep swallowing so much air as I'm talking. So yeah, David and Henry sword fighting, like the training stuff like that does need to happen. It's probably going to happen off screen like everything else. So um yeah. Okay, so the date, cuteness, and shipping armada. This entire show is just a shipping armada. In case of emergency, pop collar. That's basically Killian's whole thing. So the dual magic is really good. I don't know how Henry's phone is still working, and you could see the battery life, and it was only at like 85%. So like maybe he just has it turned off most of the time. I don't know if there's like, well, though, hang on. Granny did say the backup generators are working in the restaurant, so maybe he just fires that up at some point and plugs his phone every once in a while. I don't know, but Granny did make a point of saying the generators are working in the first episode, so there's that. um, so I don't know if Emma actually let the horse out. If she did, it might have just been magic, and the horse just got spooked enough by the fact that there was magic being used around it that he just bolted. It's a thing, so I don't know. Yeah, but I think it was just, she just did it. So, okay, so we have some people are catching on to my dream catcher theory, and I haven't even said anything yet. Yes, I think that Emma planted it. I think this, again, feeds into my whole, like, Emma wants to tell people what's going on, but for whatever reason, she can't. So she has this dream catcher. She, like, specifically went and got it, and, like, she was crying in the shed. And, like, because I think when she did that, she was like, I have to let them know. I have to do this. I have to like start letting people in. Like that's all Emma talking, not the darkness talking. When she's getting all emotional. So she has this. She makes a dream catcher with a very specific thing in it that she's trying to let people know about in some way. And I'm like tangling my fingers up in my headphones cord. And she puts it in this box. out, and like she keeps all of these dream catchers in the shed. Like there's none in her house anywhere, but she takes this one specific one and puts it in a box that looks like nothing else in the entire room. Like we had a big pan around of the room, how she's very she has a very clean, a very chic aesthetic. She has a very, you know, it's very, everything's black and kind of gothy looking. But then we have this box that is red and has like a mirror on top and looks very different from everything else in the room. And that's kind of what makes Killian's brain go, hang on a second, because that's a different thing. And it's like when you're playing a video game and there's the one thing in the room that looks like you can actually like move it, or it's like an old movie where the one thing that is not painted and the character picks up off the shelf and everything. Like that's the animated thing. It's just a visual cue of this is different. I should poke it with a stick. So that's what Killian does. He goes and he's like, hang on a second. So they find this, and it happens to have very important plot information about why a certain thing is happening. And so I think because Regina was then able to access it, like Emma made sure that Regina could access it. So despite the fact that you know, Emma locked her house, but she was like, as long as something of Henry's was able to touch it, that opened up. I think like she's a couple steps ahead of everybody else, and she's letting them figure it out because they need to. And also that's how the show works. We need to, you know, lead people along the trail of finding out what happens rather than actually like doing that, rather than, you know, show, don't tell. So it just needs to happen. So being able to show them that, like, Emma did it on purpose, basically. She planted it. It needed to happen for reasons that we don't yet know, because Emma's starting to now go a little bit further down on the crazy dark path, and we need to find out what happened, and we'll get there. So yeah. I think she planted it, and we'll find out why, other than the fact that she needed them to know what she did to figure out something, and why everybody's back now and we don't have their memories and blah, 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 blah. We'll find out. We still got some more episodes. We're only on episode 5. There's 6 more episodes for that next hiatus, so we'll get there. Okay. Why should we stop saying the word hero around Henry? Like, I keep seeing that being said, and I don't understand why. Because the whole thing of the show has been, you know, the good guys are called heroes and the bad guys are called villains. So, like, being a hero isn't a bad thing. So I'm a little confused about why we need to stop saying the word hero around Henry, because it's not a bad thing. I mean, it does kind of feed into his whole, like, I need to be brave and do things like my grandpa, but I'm not understanding what the problem is with that. So, okay, so that's that's everything that I have thought of. This has gone on a little bit longer than I was expecting it to. So what else do we need to discuss besides the fact that dang, Merlin is hot? Because I'm seeing a lot of those comments too. So yeah, what happened? What else do we need to discuss? Because I think I need to drink water because I'm doing a lot of talking. But what else do we need to talk about? I was at a Halloween party last night, so there was a lot of discussion. There was a lot of talking last night too, so my voice is just, I need to stop doing things before I stream because my voice is not liking it very much. I'm going to quickly roll through the social medias and figure out what is going on here, and if there's anybody who has not been able to comment. All right, so nothing there. Refresh here, and okay. Well, because Emma might manipulate, like, okay, but she's the Dark One, so that's what she's doing. and that's what she does to everybody. So like, it's not like, yeah, that's that's not offering like a good enough argument, because she's that's what she does. Dark One lies, Dark One tricks. That's the whole thing. So, and plus there's a lot of theories right now about how Killian is going to be the one to pull the sword from the stone, because we had him reaching for it today, but Regina stopped him because, rightfully so, we saw somebody, explode into a pile of dust when they were not supposed to do that. So Regina doesn't know what she thinks it's going to be booby trapped. So she stopped Killian from pulling Excalibur out of the stone. But we also then had Merida saying, all you need is one hand to hold the sword and you're good. I don't know how much more foreshadowing you're going to get that Killian's going to be one of the possibilities to take the sword out of the stone. So I don't know. And oh, somebody's doing a Q&A on Twitter, because I'm like, I can't see anything but this one person over and over and over again. Okay, let me see if there's any other talking points that I can think of. Aside from a really painful parallel at the very end of when Emma was leaving the house of Regina's house, and there's Henry in the window, and like that's very similar to what happened at the end of the first episode of the entire show. That doesn't hurt or anything. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I need to stop swallowing air while I'm talking so much. So, yeah, Emma's kind of leading people along to figure out stuff for themselves for some reason. Again, we're going to find out why, and she can't just tell people. So yeah, she let Killian in without it being locked. She like she has, I don't know. I think it's either, again, I think she needs either Killian or possibly now Henry to be able to do it, but I think it's going to be Killian to take the sword. I don't know though, so we'll have to find out. Do I have any best for this episode? Good question. I really I really liked. I don't know if I have any clever names for anything. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Just like bash that while I was trying to itch my nose. Let me think, because we've seen all these outfits before, so there's not really any best outfits. Again, I mean, I talked about everything that I really liked. So I really liked continuing to establish the relationship between Emma and Regina. I really like it when we actually get them having substance to it, rather than just like, here's these two women who are remarkably similar and they happen to share a son, and ta-da. So I like when we get some meat to their relationship, and it's really good. And they had the fact that I hate that Emma took away from the memory of Cora that, okay, so manipulate your child. That's, great. That's a really awesome lesson to learn from it. It's not. I hate that that's what took away from it, but I like that they were able to have this, Emma was she was able to have this. It's a very intimate moment between them, and I hesitate to use that word, but whatever, it's what it is. It is a very intimate moment between the two of them, that Emma could see this very painful memory from Regina, and just see what happened. Obviously she knew about Daniel, and she knew that Cora killed Daniel, but she didn't know exactly what happened. I don't think she knew that Cora was about, like, she looked like she was about to let them go, and Regina was all full of hope and like sparkle-eyed and like, this is actually going to happen, and then to have her hopes and dreams literally crushed in front of her. Again, I have a lot of feelings about that episode. I think that was just a best, just in terms of like them having a moment between each other. I think it was just really important, and I think it just worked really well, even if, again, Emma's takeaway was manipulate your child to get what you want. Not the best. Yeah, and otherwise, like, again, the whole like Rumple and Rumple and Gold, and this, like, I really wish we could have that more, but I just know it's a pain in the ass to like shoot the scene twice basically, so they can edit in like sparkly Rumple in the background and regular Rumple in the foreground. But I wish we could do a little more with that. Again, I've said everything that I thought my bests were, with the different styles of magic and how we did that. I keep doing this because that's just what Merlin did. Like, I just liked how tight it was. It really just felt like it showed his control, that he could just like really quickly do that, and the charmings were fixed. So his control is really like tight. His hands are close together. So it's like, this is how my wrist just cracked. This is how much in control of his magic that he is, and this is why he is the sorcerer. So the little details are really just what popped out to me for this episode. So I guess those would be my bests. Things I already talked about. Again, the outfits and everything, we all had that. And there wasn't any smooching for me to comment on this week. Womp womp. So yeah, I know it was you, but there are more people who keep coming in every week, and I've gotten some comments before about people who can't comment. So like, I just want to make sure, the options are open. Everybody can discuss in other places. If Killian takes Excalibur, is he going to be king? That's the question of the hour. And that is the question that I don't know the answer to, because that's kind of how the whole thing with Excalibur works, isn't it? I don't know, though. I don't know what's going to happen with it. And there's so many conflicting theories out there about the Orphan King that I don't know. So, yeah. Cooperative dating advice for Henry. Yeah, that was a really great moment for Henry, or for Regina and Emma, and Henry too. Just again, a really good cooperative episode for Regina and Emma, and I think we need that. It's really nice. I love, you guys know that I love the love, I love the romance and everything, but I'm also here for the friendships, and I really love when we get to see these friendships happening, because friendship makes the world go around. I don't know I'm going insane. Yeah, it's good. And I really do like when we get to explore these friendships more, and they're really, it's nice and it's good. And there's such a lack of positive female relationships on television and in general, that it's just good that when we actually have them not fighting, because they do fight an awful lot, and that's what makes me go, oh, you guys, we could do so much better than this, stop bickering. So when we have them in this positive relationship, it's like, it's great, it's really great. But when it's bad, it's really bad, and that's my eternal frustration with these two. So yeah. Henry had an outfit in Camelot last week. I think what was new was the cape. He had this cape that kind of tied around and went under his arm. It took me like the entire episode to figure out that's what was happening. But I think he had the vest. I think it was the cape that was new. But his costuming in Camelot is really good. I'm really enjoying that he gets to have like fairy tale clothes now, and not just, regular kid clothes. So I'm really enjoying that Henry finally gets to have fairy tale clothes. Violet's dress during the day was cute. When she and Henry met up for the first time in Storybrooke, and she had like the ruffly sleeves, like that was a really cute dress too. I just didn't have like any overwhelming like outfit porn. You guys know that I'm really into the costuming. I do. If you see my Instagram from last night, I was posting a lot of pictures from. We had a Halloween party last night, and like I was doing a lot of like, this is the makeup process I went through, and this is, all the costuming things I did. So like I am totally into the costuming, and I will gush if there is costume porn, but I did not. I didn't get the costume porn thing tonight. So there were good clothes, just not like it didn't hit my like points. So yeah. So I don't know if Merlin was wearing the same cloak as the dark one. I think it was remarkably similar, but I don't know if it was the same one. I will again have to go back and watch it again. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't really know about that one. So yeah, and Emma does need more friends. I mean, she's got, her best friend is Killian, because we've seen off screen, as we have not seen off screen, they've been doing a lot of bonding and like becoming closer. And like, I think he's the one that knows the most about her, but probably like like Regina probably is a close second, and then like her parents and things like that. But like Emma does need more friends, which is why Elsa needs to come back, because they're friends. I just want Georgina Egg back. Yeah. So yeah, there's I mean, Emma could be friends with Belle. I just, Belle, my throat's bothering me, so I'm gonna have a cough drop or whatever. So Emma could be friends with Belle. I just think that their interests are vastly different. And Ruby could come back and they could be friends again, but I don't know. I don't know when. I know Megan Ori's been filming. I just don't know what she's been filming for. So The dark one that trapped Merlin was Merlin's first love. I have seen those words floating around. I don't have any significant thoughts on them. It's a good thought. I would be on board with that because, love sacrifice, making the ultimate sacrifice or whatever. However, I have not given it enough thought to positively or negatively affirm that statement. So, yeah. Yeah, the dark one being Merlin's first love could be a good theory, but I don't know. So hold on to that thought, because it could be a really good one. I don't have any significant stances to make on that. So, yeah, I'm not really sure about that. So, and that seems to be what the comments are now talking about. So, okay. So my voice is starting to hurt, or my throat rather, because my voice is just air being pushed through my lungs in different capacities and tones and making sounds that you are all able to understand. So my throat's starting to hurt. I think I should clock out now, because this is actually way longer than I thought I was going to be able to talk about this episode, because again, I wasn't like horrifically engaged in it as I normally am, but I'm also like not in the best headspace right now. So, again, we're talking about Emma's friends. Yeah, I don't know if Ruby and Snow being friends would make it harder for Emma and Snow to be friends, or for Emma and Ruby to be friends. And Belle and Killian are now friends. But I mean, they can share friends, but I think it's good that they have outside. It's hard to have like separate friend groups when you all live in the same town that you can't get out of. And I kind of understand that feeling, because I too live in a town that is literally this big, and I know literally everybody here, and it's difficult to like have different friends who are not also like, it's difficult to have people that you don't already know and find interesting or whatever, because you're all kind of stuck here in this little place that you don't all really like that much. So yeah, it's difficult to have like different circles of friends when you're all kind of there anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna clocking out, and I will see you guys another time. I'll see you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun. Good chats, good discussions, good ideas. Again, if you like this and you want other people to join in, please tell them to do that, because the more the merrier, honestly. We had a little bit of a lower turnout this week according to my little counter thing, but it happens. This is a very busy weekend, and I'm going to stop being busy very soon. I will have free time because everything's going to slow down, and I don't know what that means. Like, I haven't stopped moving since like August, so I'm like so tired. But I'll have free time soon. I can actually like come up with theories and thoughts and stuff. So yes, again, please tell people to join in every single chance you can get, because this is a lot of fun, and it's a good palate cleanser for the going in and discussing things with other people in other future things. Words, thoughts, ideas. Okay. I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good week and stay safe and other things. Be careful. Bye.